Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome here to Fort Lee, as we're moments away from the start of play here today between Westwood and Fort Lee in softball action. This game was scheduled for about a 4:15 start time. Going to be starting off close to a half an hour late, as Westwood was late to get here to Fort Lee with all the traffic, and obviously it's always tough for some schools with bus driver shortages and lack of buses themselves. So we're going to be getting underway relatively soon here, as you just see the warm-ups going on just prior to the start of today's contest. As Michelle Kim will be the starting pitcher in orange for the Bridgemen of Fort Lee, 3-5 on the season. Westwood comes here to Fort Lee, 6-7 overall on the year. They have alternated wins and losses on their season since April 11th. They are bouncing back from a 6-4 defeat on Saturday against Bergenfield. So if the trend continues, the Cardinals are going to be looking to get back in the win category here today against Fort Lee. While Fort Lee has just gotten a win on the season as well over the weekend on Saturday. They defeated Demarest 11-9. That snapped what was a 4-game losing streak on the season for the Bridgemen. So 3-5 on the season for Bill Straub's side. The Bridgemen a perfect 2-0 here at home. They've been road warriors throughout the majority of this early portion of the season. Westwood will be the team in white with Cardinals written across their chests. And the Red Sox and Fort Lee wearing their black and orange here this afternoon. So again, taking the mound and taking the circle is Michelle Kim. She's ready to get going here, number 9. Kim is a junior, as she will be facing Westwood, a team that has potential to put up some runs, as they most recently had 21 runs in a win against Dwight Morrow, as that's going to be taken high for a ball, 1-0 the count. Taken low that time, so it's going to be 2-0 the count. Looks like it's Kate Walsh is going to be leading things off here, number 14 for Westwood. Ahead of the count, 2-0, and now Kim fires that one in for a strike to make it 2-1 the count. Dan Long, joined alongside by my producer, Dimitri Nanis, and our camera operator, Renee Matisic. That's going to be a ground ball to third base side, but not able to pick it was the first baseman, and that's going to be a throwing error. That's going to allow Walsh to head down to second base. So Walsh is on after she hit it to the left side of the infield. And a misplay and a missed throw as that went into the dugout. So that's going to have a leadoff runner on and down at second base. Be generous and say that's an infield single for Walsh, as that's going to be a check swing foul on the play. Angelina Rodriguez, number 1, the junior, hitting second. Faking at the bunt, and that actually hit Rodriguez with the pitch. So that's going to bring the lead runner back to second base, but the first 2 runners are on here for Westwood to begin today's game. Rodriguez is hit by a pitch as she was squaring around to potentially bunt. So Walsh is on second. Rodriguez now on first with nobody out here in the top of the first inning. That one gets away, and that's going to allow the runners to advance down a base. It's going to be second and third with nobody out. Evelie Castillo is doing the catching. Lapino in left. As we'll get to the rest of the defense momentarily as that's taken. The 2-1. That is going to be ripped down the line, and that's going to hook foul on the play. No, they're going to say that was an actual fair ball, the way that defensively they were going to get to it. It looked like it was going to be just a foul ball. Instead, it's a ground rule double. That's going to plate home too. So Westwood has jumped out in front here by a score of 2-0. On a 2-run double, we don't have a number 12 in the roster that was given to us for Westwood. So our apologies. As that pitch is taken off the plate now, 1-0. So a 2-0 lead on the 2-run double to get things underway here for Westwood in the top of the first inning. Again, this game starting off about a half an hour later than usual because of the late arrival for the Cardinals. Trying to bounce back here today on the road against Fort Lee and win for the 7th time this season, get back to 500 on the year. As Kim missing that one low, that's going to be getting by the catcher and allow the runner to head down to third. Still nobody out in the top of the first inning that has had its struggles here for the Bridgemen. Batting is Grace Truppy, number 21. There's a strike right down the middle. Right over the heart of the plate. Getting a strike now for Kim. So Kim issues the free pass. She's yet to retire a batter. Truppy went all the way down to second. I don't know if that was the case if nobody was really covering at first, so she just took the extra bag just like that. Ground ball right back to Kim. She'll look off the runner, throw down to first for one, and the lead runner will come around to score on the ground ball, as that was a ground ball RBI for Abigail Getz, number 24. Another run comes home here for Westwood, and the Cardinals lead 3-0. First out of the inning, though, recorded by Fort Lee, and there's a strike for Kim. As I mentioned, the Cardinals had 21 runs scored in a recent game, a win against another big North American Division foe in Dwight Morrow, a team that Fort Lee mercied to begin the season. That was fouled off the plate. And throw down to first. I believe it was just a harmless foul ball, so Cardinals will have their batter come back in the batter's box. Moira Hanley, number 8. That pitch is taken low for a ball. 1-2 the count. Kim missing high. It's now even the count at 2-2. Again, we're underway here for softball action at Fort Lee. 3-0 lead for the visitors. That gets by the catcher. The play is home, and trying to steal home, but unsuccessfully doing so, was Truppy. Now there's 2 away in the inning, so there's some daylight here for Kim to try to limit the damage to only 3 runs. That got through the legs of the catcher, but not far enough that was going to allow Westwood to score from third, so it was quickly just a play back to the catcher for the tagout. As that pitch missed high, and now that's going to be a walk issued by Kim. Second walk of the inning given up by Michelle Kim. As there's 2 outs now in the inning with the runner down at first base. Kim missing high. It's going to be a throw down to second as Westwood is successful in stealing the bag. So Hanley gets into second base. She's down in scoring position here with 2 away. 4 runs already home, or 3 runs, already home here in the top portion of the first inning. 57 degrees and cloudy, a little bit of a chilly wind swirling around here today. That'll break inside. That'll miss as well. There are no seniors on this Westwood roster. 6 juniors, 6 sophomores, and 1 freshman. As that's trapped low in the dirt. Seventh hitter at the plate here in this inning. As that's going to be driven down on the right field side. That'll hook onto the track and just go for a foul ball. Off the bat of the junior, Ava Palminteri. A full count with the 2 outs here in the inning. Grounded right back to Kim. She'll throw over to first in time for the 3rd and final out of this top of the first inning. 3 runs on the board for the visiting Westwood Cardinals. We'll head to the bottom of the first. First at bat coming up now for the Bridgemen as you're watching Fort Lee softball here on the Fort Lee Athletics YouTube channel. Three-0 lead for Westwood as we now head to the bottom of the first inning. Starting lineup here today for Fort Lee, leading off and pitching, Michelle Kim. Hitting second and playing in center field, Caitlin Park. Hitting third and playing at shortstop, Luciana Casal. Hitting fourth and doing the catching, Avalie Castillo. Hitting fifth and playing first base is Rachel Hum. Hitting sixth and playing second base, Olivia Hausman. Hitting seventh and playing in left field, Francesca Lupino. Hitting eighth and playing at third base, Emma Schulman. And hitting ninth and the designated player is Nadia Songo. As pitching here today is going to be number 7, Melanie Robles for Westwood. Robles' first delivery is taken low for a ball by Kim, 1-0. That pitch is a high strike, 1-1, evening the count. Bounce in the dirt. Now 2-1. Kim takes it high. Now she's one ball away from becoming a leadoff hitter on safely here. The 3-1 pitch. That one is grounded to the left side. As Kim will register the first hit of the day for Fort Lee. getting a base hit to left. And Michelle Kim is on with a leadoff single. So each team getting their leadoff hitter on safely to begin the first inning. Brings up Caitlin Park. Park swinging at that one but missing. 0-1 the count. Caitlin is a sophomore here at Fort Lee. The 0-1. Swinging and missing through that one as well, and now quickly Park is behind in the count against Robles, 0-2. The 0-2. Swinging and missing low that time. So a strikeout there. That'll move Park down to second base. So Caitlin Park is retired. She was running down to first, but as you could see back on your screen, she made her way back. There was not a throw down to the first base side. So there's one away with a runner down in scoring position now at second base. That'll bring up Luciana Casal. The senior taking that first pitch for a strike as Kim was trying to take a little bit of a lead in the process as well off of second base. Casal, one of the leading hitters in this lineup for Fort Lee. Again, not getting too far away that time. As Getz is the catcher, number 24. That's a hit up the middle to the shortstop, played over by Rodriguez for the second out. Kim staying on the third base bag right in front of her head coach. So now there's two away, but the runner is down at third base as it's going to now fall to Ava Lee Castillo to try to bring her home. So Casal grounded out to short. Castillo, the catcher, swings and misses that time. 0-1 the count. Ava Lee is a freshman, already getting playing time here at the varsity level. The 0-1 from Robles. Bounce in the dirt. Good block of the plate there by Getz. 1-1 the count. Kim led off the inning here in the bottom of the first inning for Fort Lee with a single to left field. She's down at third base, but with two outs. There's a ground ball. Once again, it's going to be fielded, thrown over, skipped, and not fielded cleanly. That will allow Fort Lee to score. So the Bridgemen get one back, and it's now a 3-1 deficit. As that was a ground ball hit to the third baseman, could not field it cleanly. And then the pick attempt by the first baseman not in time. So a 3-1 lead now as the Bridgemen score once here in the bottom of the first inning. So Castillo is on first base. This is Rachel Hum, number 11, the first baseman for Fort Lee. First plate appearance for the senior. The 1-0 missing to the outside, throw down to second as Fort Lee was trying to steal the base, but Castillo is thrown out in the process. So that will end the first inning, but not before Fort Lee generates a run of their own. They pull back to within 2 runs of Westwood. It's 3-1 as we head to the top of the second inning here on YouTube. 3-1 lead for Westwood as we head to the top of the second inning here at Fort Lee High School. Westwood putting up 3 runs in the top of the first inning. Fort Lee responded with a run there in the bottom of the first inning on the run scored off of the error. Alexa Kenny will lead things off here for the Cardinals. The top of the second, Kenny, a junior, number 11. Hitting from the right side, first ball swinging, grounds that one, as that will be an opportunity here for Westwood. Ball gets away, so instead of just staying at first, she'll scamper down to second. A throwing error here for Fort Lee. Richmond a little sloppy in the early goings, as Kenny had the base hit down the first base line and then took the extra bag on the error. So second consecutive inning that Westwood has led off the inning with a base hit. As that misses to the outside for a ball, 1-0. Ashley Pontillo, number 2, the freshman. Hitting now. Castillo trying to trap that one, as Kenny is still on at second base. Three hits in the game already for Westwood against Kim, who misses high. Now a 3-0 count. That was guided in there. Nice little off-speed pitch there. Right down the middle for Kim. So Kim is now made it to full count at 3-2. Kenny is down in scoring position. Nobody out here in the top of the second. Slashing that one and foul down the first base side. A pair of singles and an RBI, 2-run RBI double. Accounting for the 3 hits here for Westwood. Swing and a miss, strike 3. Nice job there by Michelle Kim. She produces her first strikeout of the afternoon. There's one away with the runner still down at second here at the top of the second. So back to the top of the order, and Kate Walsh, number 14. Walsh had a single her first time up. Walsh then just made her way to, came around to score on the 2-run double. Walsh will ground that one down to the second baseman, and in time for the out, as Houseman got it over to Hum in time. Now there's 2 away with a runner down, advancing to third base. So back outs procured by Michelle Kim. That time inducing Walsh into the 4-3 groundout. That brings up Rodriguez. Rodriguez was hit by a pitch in her first plate appearance in the first. It looked like she was squaring around to possibly sacrifice in that at-bat. She has to duck in as that pitch goes high of the mark, 1-0. The 1-0. That's grounded up the middle, a base hit into center field. That's going to be an RBI single that'll bring in Alexa Kenny. So Rodriguez has reached base safely now twice in this game. RBI single with 2 outs for Rodriguez, and it's now a 4-1 lead for Westwood. First ball swinging, a pop-up, but dropped on the play to the right side. Rounding third and coming home to score, it's going to be Rodriguez. What should have been possibly the last out of the inning turns out to be an opportunity for another run to come on the board here for Westwood, now with a runner down at third. And again, our apologies, and no number 12 on our roster given to us for Westwood from Coach Charles Collis. So number 12 has had quite a day already, a double, two-run double in the first inning, and now getting all the way down to third after the fielding error and the pop-up to right field. Grace Truppy now standing in. Truppy drew a walk. She was eventually thrown out trying to score on a wild pitch from third base. She was thrown out at home. There's a strike in the outside corner, 0-2 to her. So all of these runs coming in with 2 outs in the inning. It's a 5-1 lead for Westwood. They've put up a 3 spot in the first inning, now 2 more here in the second. Truppy will go down swinging, so Kim will end the inning with her second strikeout of the game. But again, Westwood produces 2 more runs. They'll increase their lead to 4 as we head to the bottom of the second inning. So we head now to the bottom of the second inning, 5-1 lead for Westwood over Fort Lee. As once again, it's Rachel Hum at home plate. She was batting when Castillo was thrown out trying to steal second. That ended the first inning. Second inning of work here for Melanie Robles. The 0-1 also falling in for a strike, now 0-2. So Robles already with the run support from her teammates. 5 runs in the first 2 innings. The 0-2 to Hum. Hum will ground that one, as that will go foul down the third base side. Robles gave up a leadoff single in the bottom of the first inning to Michelle Kim. Kim would eventually come around to score on the throwing error. As that pitch missed to the outside, it's 1-2. That one is slashed. That's going to be a base hit to left field as Hum now records the second hit of the day for Fort Lee. And for the second consecutive inning, the leadoff runner is on safely here for Fort Lee. That'll bring up Olivia Hausman, the second baseman, number 23. Hausman, a sophomore. Also has played for Coach Straub with the Fort Lee girls basketball program this past year. 3-point specialist. So she grounds that for a base hit as well. Back-to-back hits collected here by Fort Lee, as they have something brewing, first and second with nobody out in the bottom of the second inning. Third hit of the game now here for Fort Lee. That'll bring up the 7th place hitter in the lineup, the left fielder Francesco Lampino. Lampino thought about possibly squaring around to bunts, but that pitch is taken off the plate for a ball, 1-0. Lampino is a junior, as Fort Lee's trying to get back in the thick of things here, trailing Westwood 5-1. They scored 1 run in the bottom of the first inning. Robles missing off the plate now, 2-0. A couple of singles produced to start things off in the bottom of the second. Rachel Hum single to left field. Olivia Hausman single to right field. That's taken for a strike against Lapino. 2-1 the count. Swing and a miss there by Lapino. So it looks like actually one of those other pitches was deemed to be a strike, so Lapino strikes out. So now there's going to be 1 out in the inning. So Lapino is retired. Second strikeout here for Robles. Now trying her luck is Emma Schulman. And Schulman will foul that out of play behind the opposing dugout side. Schulman is a freshman, number 14 in orange and black. Stepping back in to the right side of the batter's box. Robles is wind and delivery. Off-speed pitch, grounded to the first base side. The tag is administered. That will allow the runners to advance down to second and third respectively, but now there's 2 outs in the inning, and Robles 1 out away from getting out of harm's way, not allowing a run. That'll bring up Nadia Songo, number 6. Songo takes that one high. She's the designated player in this lineup. That one gets away. It's going to go to the backstop. Fort Lee, though, not choosing to advance the runner down to try to score. I think they saw what happened when Westwood was trying to score in a pass ball. And then it was an out at home. So 2-0 the count. Robles fires that one in the outside corner for a strike to make it 2-1. The right-hander has allowed 1 run on 3 hits, 2 strikeouts so far in the game. Trying to strand the runners here in the bottom of the second. Missing a low to the outside, now 3-1. And if Songo could continue this inning, that would bring it back to the top of the order in Michelle Kim, who's already 1 for 1 this afternoon. Gets trying to frame as the catcher. Just weakly hit. Robles will field her position, throw over to first in time for the crucial 3rd out of that bottom of the second inning. So just a little bit of a nub shot there right in front of home plate. Robles jumped on it, pounced on it, and threw over in time to complete the inning, stranding 2 runners. So Fort Lee got the first 2 runners on safely. They don't score. We head to the top of the 3rd inning, 5-1 lead still for Westwood. Top of the third inning, as Michelle Kim and the Bridgemen getting set here, as they'll contend with the catcher, Abigail Getz. Getz, the sophomore, had a ground down, but drove in a run on the ground down back to Kim. First ball swinging and lining that one deep past the center fielder. That's going to roll a bit. As Getz is going to have extra bases, she makes the turn from second. She's going to try her luck, sliding down safely into third base with a leadoff triple here to begin the top of the third inning. Getz wasting little time. First ball that she saw, she ripped that one into left center field. It kept on rolling past the advance of the center fielder Park and Eno. And once they were able to collect it, Getz was still putting the afterburners on after she made the turn around second and slid into third safely with a leadoff triple. Second extra base hit of the afternoon for Westwood. Fifth hit of the game. Brings up Maura Harvey. Harvey just getting a foul tip of that, as that's going to be 0-1 against her. Hanley, a sophomore, drew a walk back in the first inning. So Maura Hanley setting in now from the right side. The 0-1. Hanley dropping down the bunt, down to the third base side, as that's going to be ruled a foul ball. So Hanley will have to come back and now face an 0-2 count. Interesting decision there to try to do that rather than just try to swing or even try to drop down a bunt maybe to the first base side to squeeze home that 6th run potentially of the game. So the 0-2 taken high to the outside, now 1-2. If you're just joining us, this game started about a half an hour later than usual with the late arrival of Westwood. Swing and a miss, there's strike 3. Third strikeout of the game here for Michelle Kim. And the junior has procured her first out of this top of the third inning. So the late arrival pushed a 4:15 scheduled start time back to around 4:45. Westwood has scored 3 times in the first inning, 2 more in the last inning of the second. There's another bunt drop down, sliding in safely. Is the pinch runner who was running for the catcher Getz. That was Kelly Riley. So the squeeze play does work to perfection there to bring in another run for Westwood. Palmentary getting the RBI on the bunt single. And now it's a 6-1 lead for Westwood. They have scored in each of the first 3 innings. Now it's a bunt being dropped down by Kenny. But Kenny bunts it foul. Alexa Kenny had a single back in the second inning. She's 1 for 1 here today. Kim missing to the outside as Castillo trying to keep that runner close back at first base. So Abigail Getz led off the inning with a triple. And the courtesy runner who came in for her was squeezed home on the bunt single and the RBI for Palmentary. One and 2 the count against Kenny. 1 out, runner down at first. Ashley Puntillo is waiting on deck. She's the 9th place hitter in this Westwood lineup. That one is driven to the right side, but that will hook foul and out of play. Westwood defeated Fort Lee at home last season by a final score of 16-5. The Cardinals went 11-14 last season, finished the bottom of the Big North Patriot Division. As that pitch gets away from Castillo, going high to Mark, that's going to allow the runner to head down to second base. as Palmenteri will now be in scoring position. 2-2 count. The 2-2 grounded to the third base side. That's going to get through and allow Palmenteri now to advance down to third. The runner took a big wide turn around first, but electing not to get caught in the rundown. She'll scamper back to first base, and there's runners now at the corners, with still one out here in the top of the third inning. Third hit of the inning after Kenny was able to get on base, hitting it to the third base side. Throwing back to Kim, the pitcher, and aggressively stealing second base is going to be Alexa Kenny. So Castillo saw that the runner was in motion from first, threw it back quickly to her pitcher, who was looking to freeze the runner down at third, and kind of gave up that second base steal. Now the bunt is dropped down to the first base side. Fielded down to first base, on another run will score for Westwood. And it looks to be the runner was safe, Pontillo, at first base. So the runner is safe at first. One out in the inning still. And small ball here for Westwood. So they score another run. 7-1 advantage now for the Cardinals. Back to the top of the order with Kate Walsh. And again, another steal at the end of that wild pitch. That will allow Pontillo to enter into scoring position herself at second base. Runners at second and third. With one out, a 1-0 count against Walsh. Walsh grounded out to second base her last time up. Also had a single in the first inning. Two 2-0 count now against Walsh. Two runs home here in the top of the third inning. Kim missing low to the outside. Walsh, the center fielder for Westwood, trying to help continue a hot start to this game, so they have not been fazed at all by arriving here to the field late. They have gotten their batting gloves on and are swinging hot bats early on. That time, Walsh laying off 4 pitches outside the strike zone, so now the bases are loaded for Angelina Rodriguez. Rodriguez had an RBI single in her last plate appearance, and the second was hit by a pitch back in the first. Third walk of the game for Kim. Rodriguez fouls that one off of the catcher, Castillo. She seems to be okay as she goes back to retrieve the foul ball off the caromed helmet. Castillo, the junior, with the sunglasses on, trying to get ready for this selection. Takes that one high for a ball. 1-1. Rodriguez, the shortstop, again trying to break this game wide open. Already it's a 6-run lead for Westwood. Bases loaded with one out here, batting in the top of the third. And that one is driven to the right side. That's going to be a base hit into right field. That's going to score a pair. Add another 2 RBIs to the total for Angelina Rodriguez. Rodriguez is now 2 for 2 with 3 RBIs. And Westwood has stretched their advantage now to 9-1. Runners at first and second, and it still remains only 1 out in the inning. That being the strikeout of Hanley. 5 hits in the inning for Westwood, as that one is fouled back. Again, number 12. We apologize for not having the name of number 12. A 2-run double in the first, reached on an error her last time as she swings it down that left field line. Foul ball out of play, so the runners at first and second will have to go back to their respective bases. It's 0-2 count in favor of Michelle Kim. Five hits and a walk in this inning for Westwood. Yo, 2. That's going to be popped up. Kim calling for it herself, and she'll make the putout for the second out of the inning. So the pop-up to the pitcher, 2 outs being called for here by Castillo, the catcher. With runners still at first and second, 9th hitter of the inning coming to the plate, it's Grace Truppy. Truppy is 0 for 1 with a walk and a strikeout. She struck out to end the second inning. Truppy trying to go for the downs there, swings through it and misses. 0-1 the count. One is grounded to the shortstop. Casal going to second for the force out, and that will end the inning. But not before. Again, a big inning here for Westwood. They have tacked on to what was a 5-1 lead heading into the top of the third. It is now 9-1 heading to the bottom of the third, as the Bridgemen will come to bat in the bottom of the third here on the Fort Lee Athletics YouTube channel. To the bottom of the third inning we go. 9-1 lead for Westwood on top of Fort Lee. The Cardinals have exploded offensively here at the beginning of this game. 3 runs in the first inning, 2 more in the second. Then plating home 4 runs at the top portion of this third inning. All staking Melanie Robles out to an advantage here, as now she contends with Michelle Kim at the top of the Fort Lee order. A little bit of a delay here before we get to the resumption of play, as the home plate umpire now getting himself sorted out. Michelle Kim is 1 for 1 this afternoon, had a single in the first inning, came around to score. Eventually on the error at third base, Kim fouls that one off. 0-1 the count. Westwood 1-3 in the Big North Patriot Division this year. 4th place in the division. Ramsey sits atop the standings with a perfect 4-0 divisional mark, 9-4 on the season. As that pitch taken low inside for a ball, 1-1. Fort Lee, on the other hand, 2nd place in the Big North American Division behind Dumont. Huskies sitting in first, 2-0, 4-4 on the season. As Kim will fly that one out, and we'll get that as extra bases to deep right field. Kim will be given second base. It's going to be a ground rule double, so Michelle Kim is 2 for 2 this afternoon. A single in the first and now a double here to start off the third inning. She's got 2 of Fort Lee's 4 hits on the afternoon. Third consecutive inning that the Bridgemen have gotten the leadoff hitter on safely to start off against Robles. Brings up Caitlin Park. Park swings through it and misses 0-1. Park was the strikeout victim back in the first inning. She's 0 for 1 this afternoon. These two sides met about a year ago to the day, as that's an off-speed pitch that hits the outside corner. 0-2 now. They met last April 22nd at Westwood. Robles off speed, out in front, swing and a miss, strike 3. Park is retired via the strikeout for the second time in as many plate appearances this afternoon, and now there's one away with Kim still down at second base. Third strikeout of the game now for Robles as she takes on Luciana Casal. Casal taking that one off the plate low, 1-0. Casal grounded out to short her first plate appearance. She's 0 for 1 this afternoon. Fort Lee is 2-0 here at home this season, as 6 of their first 8 games have been away from home. It's going to be a ground ball. That's into left field for the base hit. Not far enough, though, that they feel they can score Kim from second base. So Casal will get on with their first hit of the afternoon. Second hit of this inning here in the bottom of the third for Fort Lee. And there's runners at the corners now with only 1 out. Fifth hit of the game now for the Bridgemen. Brings up Castillo, the catcher. She pops that one up. Ranging over but unable to make the play was the shortstop. So that's going to fall for a wind-aided hit. And now the bases are loaded for the Bridgemen. And Fort Lee with only 1 out in the inning. Castillo hit that one a mile high, but it just kept on drifting away from Rodriguez at short. Palminteri could not make a play either at third. It fell in, and now the bases are loaded. That pitch seemed to be taken outside by Rachel Hum for a ball, 1-0. Hum is 1 for 1, had the single to start off the second inning. So now Fort Lee trying to carve their way back in this one. Off speed, nice delivery there by Robles, changing up the speeds, getting Hum out in front as she was anticipating fastball. The 1-1. Swing and a miss on the outside corner pitch. And actually that was deemed to be strike 3. So the first pitch that looked like there wasn't that much of a demonstrative call of a strike. Again, we're from our vantage point. We cannot hear anything with umpires, as that's going to be strike 3 instead of a 1-2 count. It was 0-2, so Rachel Hum is retired. Second strikeout of the inning, and now there's 2 away with the bases loaded. As Olivia Hausman will take that one low and off the plate, 1-0. Hausman had a single on the second base side in her first plate appearance. There's a strike for Robles to the outside corner. Now that evens the count at 1-1. Kim began the inning with a double. Casal had a single. Castillo with a single. Hausman swinging through that one. It's now 1-2. And Robles 1 strike away from pulling the Houdini act and getting out of this trouble without surrendering a single run. The 1-2. Hausman will ground that one foul. So we'll do it again at 1-2. 3 hits and a pair of strikeouts. No runs, though, produced yet by Fort Lee. The 1-2. That one is chopped down. Play is going to be made, tossed over to third, and that will be the out, the force out, to get out of the inning unscathed and unscored upon. Westwood will take a 9-1 lead into the top of the 4th inning. After Robles had the bases loaded against her with 1 out, but Fort Lee not able to produce any additional runs there. They'll stay on their lone run of the game, trailing by 8. So a missed opportunity there in the bottom of the third inning for Fort Lee as the Bridgmen had the bases loaded with only one away in the inning. But Melanie Robles, who has had a knack here today of getting in and out of her own trouble, that time the big strikeout of Rachel Hum with 2 outs, and then induced Olivia Hausman into a fielder's choice force out down at third base. So that makes it a 9-1 lead for Fort Lee as we head to the top of the fourth inning now. And Abigail Getz, the catcher, who had a triple her last time up, will lead things off. She led off play to start the third inning and had that triple that went down the left center line in between the center fielder and the left fielder. So new pitcher into the game for Fort Lee, as Michelle Kim's day is done. And that will be instead Emma Schulman. Schulman, the freshman, missing on the outside, 1-0. Schulman started off the game at third base. That falls in, I believe, for a strike. Again, from our vantage point, fans, it's very difficult to see if the home plate umpire is not demonstrative enough with the balls and strike calls. Here's Getz rocketing that one down the left field line. And that will go for a foul ball. So Schulman now with 2 strikes against the hitter. 1-2 as Getz was waiting on that one. Schulman all smiles here. Here's the freshman's 1-2. Missing high with it. Westwood scoring 3 in the first, 2 in the second, and 4 more in the third. Batting here at the top of the fourth. As Getz again getting around on it, but pulling it wide of the mark just a little too early. Schulman not really throwing the velocity here. She's just trying to throw strikes, and in doing so, a lot of these are coming off as off speeds. So Getz is jumping on anything she can see and pulling these shots just a little too early. Here's the 2-2 from Schulman. Again, that one is rocketed, and that time it will be a base hit to left field. So Getz was sitting dead red throughout that entire at-bat against Schulman, and then eventually timed it up and got the base hits. So Getz will be taken off the field for another courtesy runner. Tenth hit of the ball game already for Westwood, batting here in the top of the fourth inning. Moira Hanley, who's 0 for 1 with a walk and a strikeout, jumps out of the way as that pitch was low, almost at her legs. That's going to allow the courtesy runner, the pinch runner, to head down into scoring position down at second base with nobody out. Once again, the one doing the running is Kelly Riley, number 5. Hanley will nub that one as Shulman will recover, throw it down to first base. As it looks like the out is made after Hanley was taking her base at first. It'll move the lead runner down to third base with now one away. Nice job by Shulman of fielding her position for the 1-3 putout. Ava Palmenteri now stepping in, taking off the plate to the outside, 1-0. Palmenteri grounded back to Kim, the pitcher, in the first inning to retire the inning, and then had an RBI singler last time up in the third. RBI opportunity here with a runner down at third. She'll go with it down to the right field side, and that's going to be an out, recorded by Fort Lee. So the runner is still down at third base after the flyout to right field by Palmenteri. Here's a pop-up. Opportunity, and Fort Lee does the job. So much like what Robles has been doing on the other side, this time it's Shulman getting herself in and out of trouble after the leadoff runner had gotten on and eventually gotten down to scoring position with nobody out. The next three hitters retired in order on a ground ball back to the pitcher, a fly out to right, and then a fly out to center field. So it remains a 9-1 lead for Westwood as we head to the bottom of the fourth inning as you're watching Fort Lee softball on Fort Lee YouTube's Athletic Channel. So the first time this afternoon that Westwood is not able to generate some offense in that top of the fourth inning. They strand a runner down at third base, but Robles still staked down to a 9-1 advantage as she begins the bottom of the fourth inning. Francesca Lupino, the left fielder, will lead things off here for Fort Lee. Lupino struck out back in the second inning. She's 0 for 1. Robles getting that strike on the outside corner. 0-1 the count. (0-1) sailing high of the mark. 1-1 the count. After this game, Westwood will be looking forward to trying to get a couple more wins on the season. Swing and a miss. Especially on their schedule, it's May 6th against Demarest, the home game. I don't know if they're going to be involved in any tournament action before that. The 1-2. Swing and a miss, strike three. Lupino is retired for the second time this afternoon via the strikeout. That'll be the fifth strikeout of the day here for Robles. And the leadoff hitter is retired to begin the bottom of the fourth inning. That'll bring up Emma Shulman. Shulman, who began this game down at third and just took over the pitching duties for Coach Bill Straub. Takes the pitch low. Shulman grounded it out to the first baseman, her first time up. Another ground ball. That's down to the shortstop and not able to throw over in time from her knees as Emma Schulman will leg out an infield single. That was going to be a very difficult play for Rodriguez. That was deep in the hole at short. And she had to try to throw from her knees, would not have the strength to get it over in time as Schulman had the good speed. 7th hit of the day now for Fort Lee. As that'll bring up the 9th place hitter, Nadia Sango. Sango is 0 for 1. She hit a dribbler right back to the pitcher, Robles. That ended a scoring opportunity in the second for Fort Lee. As Sango is hit by the pitch there that time as Robles came inside a little too tight. Now Fort Lee with runners at first and second with only one out here in the bottom of the 4th inning. So Sango gets on base for the first time this afternoon. First hit batter, and that'll bring up Michelle Kim. Kim is 2 for 2 this afternoon, a single and a double. She was trying to go yard with that one, almost fell down to a knee in her swing attempt. 0-1 the count. That was a bit of a lollipop throw there. Got away from Robles. Big cheeky smile on her face as she'll go to the rosin bag to dry off her hand. That got away from her, to say the least. 1-1 the count against Kim. That pitch high and outside the strike zone again. It's now 2-1. Schulman down at second base. She's in the middle of your screen, number 14. Sango standing down at first. It's going to be a pop-up. Trying to get in a position, but hitting into the back of the cage, giving new life here for Kim. Robles had charged out of the circle to see if she could make a play on it, as her catcher Getz could not see it right off the bat. But Kim is saved by the cage that's enveloped over the home plate. 2-2. Again, airmailed high and outside. It's now run full at 3-2. If Kim could get on base, that could potentially load the bases again for the Bridgman. The 3-2. That one is jettisoned foul down the right field line. And we'll do the full count again. 3-2 with one out here. Batting in the bottom of the 4th inning. Westwood leading Fort Lee by a score of 9-1. Dan Long, Dimitri Nanis, Renee Matisic. Glad that you could join us here on YouTube. That pitch missing low and inside. That's going to be ball 4, and the bases are now loaded for Fort Lee. So after Robles got the first out on the strikeout of Lupino, she has surrendered an infield single, hit a batter, and now walked a batter. Her first walk of the afternoon. Brings up Caitlin Park. That's a low pitch. That'll go to the backstop. But again, Fort Lee not taking any chances. They're not going to try to run in with the bases loaded and possibly get forced out at home. So instead, it's just the ball, 1-0. Caitlin Park is 0 for 2 with a pair of strikeouts. Center fielder trying to produce some runs here for Fort Lee. That pitch is low. Has not had to offer it any of these pitches yet from Robles, who's gone a little wild here. The 2-0. That also misses low. It's now 3-0 the count. So one more ball outside the strike zone, and it's going to be a run forced home for Fort Lee. Robles sets herself back on the rubber. Here's the 3-0. And that's going to be a strike that falls in just at around the knees. 3-1 the count. Will Park be aggressive here and swing, or will she again just try to take a pitch? The 3-1. And that's going to be low for ball 4. That's going to walk home a run. And now it is a 9-2 lead for Westwood. And an RBI credited to Caitlin Park. Back-to-back walks surrendered by Melanie Robles. As her catcher comes out to talk to her, tries to set her down. Still only one out here in the inning. But the dangerous Luciana Casal stepping in. Casal 1 for 2 this afternoon. Grounded out to short. Also had a base hitter last time up in the third. Bases loaded, 1 out. 9-2 lead now for Westwood. Casal will power that one into the outfield. That's going to fall for a base hit. That's going to drive in a couple as Casal will head all the way down to second base with a 2-run double. Casal drives in a pair, 3 runs home here in the inning, and Westwood's lead has now been trimmed down to 5, 9-4 here, and still runners at second and third with 1 away for the Bridgmen in their home portion in the bottom of the 4th inning. Castillo now will try to flare that one to right, as that'll go out for foul ball, 0-1. So after missing the opportunity to drive in a couple runs with the bases loaded previously in this game, Casal striking for the biggest hit of the day for the Bridgmen, as Robles just has not been able to find her accuracy here in the 4th inning. Missing to the outside, it's now 1-1 against Avalie Castillo. Castillo has reached base safely in both appearances, reached on an error and then singled her last time up. That is a ground ball right back to the pitcher Robles. Throws over to first. Now another run trying to come home and does score. So Fort Lee playing a little game of cat and mouse down the third base line. The play was made over to the first base side, and then Westwood, for whatever reason, was hesitating whether or not that runner was going to, in fact, come home. And another run is scored here on the ground ball out. So Castillo is going to be credited with the RBI. That brings up Rachel Hum. 4 runs in this inning for Fort Lee. They're back within striking distance. It's a 9-5 deficit for the Bridgmen. Hum takes that one low as it bounces to home plate. First baseman for Fort Lee, Rachel Hum, had a single in the second, struck out in the third. 1 for 2. That one's fouled off by Hum. Now 2-1 count. So Fort Lee producing here in the bottom of the 4th inning. They scored once in the first, now 4 times here in the 4th. The 2-1. Nice off-speed there. Hum was out in front. And that'll do it for the inning. So that's going to be strike 3. Hum goes down swinging for the second time. But Fort Lee puts up a 4-run inning there in the bottom of the 4th inning. As we head now to the top of the 5th, 9-5 lead for Westwood here on YouTube. Head to the top of the fifth inning now. Second inning of work here for Shulman. As she came into this game to relieve Michelle Kim, who started as the starting pitcher, as that one's going to be fouled off. 0-1 the count. Emma Shulman, the freshman, put up a goose egg in that fourth inning. Did not allow a run the first inning that Westwood did not score. Ashley Pontillo, ninth place hitter, 1 for 2, struck out in the second, had an RBI single her last time up. Pontillo taking that one inside for a ball, 1-1. So both teams alternating 4-run innings. Westwood putting up 4 runs in the top of the third. Fort Lee answering with 4 runs in the bottom of the fourth. 9-5 advantage. Pontillo getting out of the way of that errant throw. It's now 2-1 the count. Westwood, 3 runs in the first, 2 runs in the second, 4 runs in the third. Fort Lee with 1 run in the first, 4 in the fourth. The 2-1. Pontillo fouling off a piece of one. It's now even the count at 2-2. Shulman's 2-2, missing a low and inside. Now the count is run full against Ashley Pontillo. 3-2 the count. Top of the order awaits after Pontillo as Kate Walsh is on deck. Pontillo setting that one down the first base line, but foul. As you kind of see, Shulman is not necessarily a strikeout pitcher. She's been just trying to throw strikes up at the plate and kind of pitch to her defense and pitch to the contact. That's how she got through the fourth inning with a couple of flyouts at the end of the inning. The 3-2. Again, throwing a strike. Pontillo will send that one to the right side as that will drop, but do so in foul territory. 3-2 the count. And Shulman has done a nice job so far of just throwing strikes and forcing the hitters to make contact. Not looking to hit corners and pinpoint accuracy. The 3-2. That time, broadcaster jinx well in effect. I talk about her accuracy, and Shulman missed just a little low there. That's going to be a leadoff walk. Nice at bat by Ashley Pontillo. And Westwood will have a runner on as we head back to the top of the Westwood lineup in Kate Walsh. First walk given up by Shulman, 4th walk of the game for Fort Lee pitching. Walsh will ground that one softly back to Shulman, bobbles it a bit, throws over, but not in time. So Walsh will leg out that infield single. Because Shulman could not field it cleanly initially as it was hit right back to her, that did not give her a chance then to throw out Walsh, who had the speed down the first base line. So Walsh with her second hit of the game. 11th hit for Westwood in this one. Runners at first and second with nobody out for Angelina Rodriguez, already with 3 RBIs and a pair of hits in this game. Shortstop will pop that one up. And that's going to be played there by Eno. And Eno will retire Rodriguez for the first time this afternoon. One away with runners. I believe at the corners. Looks like runner down at third base with the tag up there. So they tagged from second, went over to third. Runners at the corners, a productive out nonetheless for Rodriguez on the fly out to right. Number 12, popping that one for extra bases. That's going to get away from Eno and roll all the way down. That'll be a ground rule double. That'll drive in a run. Second double of the game for number 12. As she now has 3 RBIs to her name. Runners at second and third, still with 1 out in the top of the 5th. 10-5 lead as Westwood scores for the fourth time in 5 innings in this game. They've scored in 4 of the 5 innings. Truppy. She fouls that one off and out of play. 0-1 the count. Truppy drew a walk in the first, struck out in the second, and hit into a fielder's choice in the third inning. So Westwood has produced 1 run already, and they have runners at second and third. They're looking for more here in the top of the 5th inning. Up by 5. Now time again, another long fly ball. That's going to bounce again for extra bases. That's going to be an opportunity here for more runs to score. They're going to move the runner down to third base when it went out, so it's another ground rule double, but does not score the runner from second. It will score 1 run, so Truppy drives in the 11th run of the day for Westwood, and now they've staked themselves out to a 6-run lead. Here's Abigail Getz. Getz with a ground ball to the third base side and foul on the play. Getz was the first hitter to face Shulman, who came into the game out of the pen. Should technically say out of third base, as she started as the third baseman for the Bridgman today. Getz had a long at-bat, was trying to drive it down the left field line a couple times, and eventually had a single down that left field line. But then Riley came in and ran for her, and she was eventually stranded in the inning after leading off the 4th with a single. Shulman with 1 out here, 1-1 count. Runners at second and third. Couple runs already home here in the top of the 5th. Gets taking all the way. That's going to miss inside for another ball, 2-1. So Shulman with all the off-speed deliveries. How can she get through this inning and produce a couple more outs? 2-1, taken inside as well, so no strikes coming right now. She's given up back-to-back doubles. Getz is a power bat here in the lineup for Westwood, but ahead of the count, 3-1. Will Shulman give in and throw a strike at the heart of the plate? She does. That's going to be tomahawked down the left field line, and that's going to be a foul ball. So Getz was giving it a try to produce a potential double again. That would be the 3rd straight double of this inning for Westwood. So the count will now run full at 3-2. And Shulman still looking for what would be her first strikeout of the game. 3-2 is popped up, but foul backwards. So Getz still in at this at-bat. Full count, 1 out here in the top of the 5th. That's going to be a ground ball. That gets through to the right side. To the left side, I should say, and that's going to score a couple more, as Westwood aggressively will score and plate home 2 on the RBI single to left field by Getz, the catcher, as she now has collected her 3rd hit of the game, drives in a pair. And it's now a 13-5 lead for Westwood. Again, if Westwood scores 2 more and then shuts down Fort Lee at the bottom portion of the 5th inning, this would be a mercy rule of 10 runs in effect after 5. The bunt is dropped down by Hanley. Shulman throws over, not in time. Hanley is safe. And again, the pinch runner Riley, who runs for Getz, goes all the way down to third base. So runners at the corners with still 1 out here in the top of the 5th inning. Moira Hanley getting her first hit of the day on the bunt single. 5 hits in this inning for Westwood. "15 hits in the game now for the Cardinals. Palmenteri now stepping in. She swings at the first offering and does not connect. A big smile on her face there, despite not drawing any contact in the softball. 0-1 count against her. Runners at the corners, one out here, 13-5 lead for Westwood. Thanks for tuning in and supporting these great student athletes from both fine schools on our broadcast. Ground ball to the first base side. That'll get through. That's going to drive in another run. And now, once again, it's going to be runners at the corners with one out on an RBI single by Ava Palminteri. 16th hit of the game now for the Cardinals, who have responded after allowing that 4 runs in the bottom of the 4th inning to Fort Lee. They have now staked themselves out to a 9-run advantage at 14-5. That one is bounced low. Castillo holding on to it, but that allows the runner in Palminteri to head down the extra base down to second base herself. Alexa Kenny stepping in. Kenny is the 9th hitter to reach home plate here for an at-bat in the inning, as Shulman missing low, and Castillo will throw it back to her, 2-0 count. Westwood, adept at making contact here today. 6 hits in this 5th inning. The 2-0 just fouled off a piece of it, so a strike now against Kenny at 2-1. Five runs here in the top of the 5th inning. A lot of crooked numbers on the board in this one for both teams. That one is sent and driven down the right field side. The putout is made by Eno in right field. And now there's 2 outs in the inning. So Kenny flies out to right, as Westwood will bat around with runners at second and third, and now 2 away in the inning. As it looks like it might be a pinch hitter coming into the game now. Talia Hernandez, number 17, is going to hit for Ashley Pontillo, the 9th place hitter. Pontillo led off the inning with a walk. So Hernandez with her first plate appearance, the sophomore. Again, this is a Westwood team that does not feature a senior in their roster at the varsity level. Taken for a strike in the outside corner. Now 0-1 against Hernandez. Westwood with 2 runners in scoring position. 2 outs, though. Taken low, and it's now 1-1 the count. Westwood trying to follow the formula that they've enjoyed since April 11th. They've alternated wins and losses on the season. They're coming off a loss their last time out, as that's fouled down the first base line. Lost over the weekend against Bergenfield, trying to bounce back with a win here on the road. A win would get them back to 500 on the season and make it 7-7 on the year. The 1-2 for Shulman. Missed high to the outside, now 2-2 against Hernandez. If Hernandez can get on base, that would bring us back to the top of the order for Westwood and Kate Walsh. The 2-2. That one is chopped at. That might have been out of the strike zone, but Hernandez gave a try at it. Another foul ball, 2-2. Again, Michelle Kim went the first 3 innings in the circle for Fort Lee. Next 2 innings being taken over here by Emma Shulman. It's a ground ball over to the first base side, thrown over, and in time for the final putout of the inning. But Westwood once again putting up a big inning's worth of offense. As they plate home 5 more runs, they'll take a 14-5 lead here to the bottom of the 5th inning in Fort Lee. To the bottom of the fifth inning we go. 14-5 the lead for Westwood on top of Fort Lee. As, again, Westwood scoring 3 in the first, 2 more in the second, 4 in the third, and now a 5 spot here in the fifth inning. Fort Lee put up a 4 spot in the last inning, as this is going to be a ground ball. And that'll be the first out of the inning on the ground ball out. As Olivia Hausman is retired, 1 away. So 1 out in the inning. As waiting to see who the hitter is going to be to come up here for Fort Lee. Looks like Richmond going to their bench. With 1 out and nobody on. The 1-0 pitch. Robles missing both deliveries now. The outside. As the pinch hitter is number 17, Irene Berg-Segura. First plate appearance for her. Weakly hit right back to Robles, who fields her position and throws over to first for the second out. And now there's 2 away with nobody on base here in the bottom of the fifth inning. Couple of ground ball outs produced by Melanie Robles. And that brings up Emma Schulman. Schulman had a singler last time up. Also grounded out to first. She's 1 for 2. Schulman knocks that backwards into the cage. 0-1 against her. Again, because it is a 9-run deficit, this is not the Mercer rule in effect. It's got to be 10 runs at least through 5 innings. As that's going to be another strike against Schulman. So even if Robles shuts the door on Fort Lee here in the fifth, we will head to the 6th inning in this 9-run lead for Westwood. That one is sawed off. And another ground ball out. So Robles retires Fort Lee in order, 1-2-3 on 3 consecutive ground balls. The last 2 coming right back to her. So we'll head now to the top of the 6th inning. It remains a 14-5 advantage for Westwood. So we head to the top of the 6th inning, 14-5. The lead for the visiting Cardinals of Westwood over the Bridgemen of Fort Lee. Dan Long, Dimitri Nanis, Renee Matisich, glad that you could join us. As is the case whenever we do these broadcasts here on the Fort Lee Athletics YouTube channel when it comes to the softball games. Because of there's really no high vantage point, there's no press box at the softball field, which is directly lined up behind the high school here at Fort Lee. We do these broadcasts remotely from inside East Gymnasium. So we're seeing the vantage point on our screens that you are at home. So again, we thank you for your patience and understanding as we try to get all the balls and strikes right, as well as identifying the usual players that are in the midst of the action. So we thank you here. So the first pitch from Shulman delivered to the outside for a ball against Kate Walsh. Walsh, the leadoff hitter, has reached base safely 3 times here today. A couple of singles, also drew a walk. She's only been retired once on a ground ball to second base back in the second. 2-0 the count against her. "16 hits here this afternoon for Westwood, as that's a nice play made, robbing what would have been the 17th hit. That was Olivia Houseman at second base, ranging over for the pop-out. And now the leadoff hitter is retired to begin the top of the 6th inning. 1 away. Brings up Angelina Rodriguez. Rodriguez has driven in 3 runs in this game. Takes that one high for a ball, 1-0. Rodriguez was hit by a pitch in the first, had an RBI single in the second, drove in 2 with a 2-run single in the third. And her last time out, she flew out to right field in the 5th. Ahead of the count now, 2-0. Shulman induces the pop-up. She'll try to handle herself, but the wind wreaked havoc there as Shulman was not able to range over to get that pop-up as it kept on carrying down to the first base side. So that's going to be an infield single for Rodriguez, her 3rd hit of the afternoon for Westwood. And the Cardinals have a runner on with 1 out here in the top of the 6th. Number 12 at the plate again. She has driven in 3 runs herself with a pair of doubles. Also reached on an error in the second inning. The only time that she has been put out was a pop-up to the pitcher, Kim, in the 3rd. That's going to be a long fly ball. That's going to go way back again. That's going to roll past the track. That's going to be a ground rule double. Will keep the runner from scoring. Rodriguez will head down to 3rd. And the 3rd double of the game for the first baseman. So now it's runners at 2nd and 3rd for Westwood here with 1 out in the top of the 6th inning. As Shulman will miss wide of the mark. Grace Truppy had an RBI double her last time up in the 5th inning. Truppy taking another one outside the strike zone. Westwood has scored in every inning but 1. We're held scoreless in the first inning of work by Emma Shulman, who came into the game to begin the 4th. Taken down inside, it's now 3-0 count. And a walk here would load the bases with 1 out. And again, if Westwood were to score a run, that would put them in a position here to possibly put into play the mercy rule. That's a rip shot down the left field side. Or a foul ball, 3-1. "18 hits this afternoon for Westwood. And Truppy will line that one into the glove of the center fielder, tagging from 3rd, coming home to score. And now it is a 15-5 lead for Westwood on the sacrifice fly by Grace Truppy to center field. So Truppy will get her 2nd RBI of the day on that fly out to straightaway center. 2 outs in the inning after Park made the play in center field. That brings up Abigail Getz. Getz fouls that one down to the third base side. Getz is 3 for 4 in this game with 3 RBIs. Had a RBI on a ground out back in the first inning, and then 3 consecutive hits, a triple in the third, a single in the fourth, and a single last time up in the fifth that drove in 2. Getz again trying to slam that one down the third base side, and she's behind in the count now 0-2. Shulman a strike away from getting out of the inning. He's given up 1 run here in the top of the 6th inning. The 0-2. Getz will drive that one. That's going to be in the air, but not able to make the play in left field. That's going to be able to continue this top of the 6th inning for Westwood. So that was a pop-up to left field. It looked like Shulman was going to get out of the inning, but instead it was dropped. Now runners at the corners. Still with 2 outs here in the top of the 6th inning. Now getting her first plate appearance after being featured as a pinch runner in this game. It's going to be Kelly Riley, number 5. Riley lays off that high pitch. Now 2-0 in her favor. Riley batting for Moira Hanley. The 2-0. It's popped up and into the glove this time of Park down at third base for the third and final out of the top of the 6th inning. We head to the bottom of the 6th. 10-run lead for Westwood, 15-5. Stick around as we'll be back for the bottom of the 6th inning here on YouTube. So Westwood and Melanie Robles in pursuit of a win here. We'll head to the bottom of the 6th inning. They lead by 10, so if they hold Fort Lee down in this inning without the Bridgman scoring, this would end the game an inning earlier than even just the regular duration of 7 innings here this afternoon. So Robles talking things over and smiling with her cohorts in the infield as we get back to the circle and get back to play to start the bottom of the 6th. Fort Lee has produced 5 runs in this game. Put up a 4 spot in the bottom of the 4th inning as Nadia Sango will lead things off, the 9th place hitter. That's taken for a strike off the plate. 0-1. Sango grounded out to the pitcher in the 2nd inning, got hit by a pitcher last time up in the 4th. There's a swing, grounded right back to Robles, and the first out is retired to begin the bottom of the 6th inning. So Sango grounds out to the pitcher for the 2nd time in this game. There's 1 away as we head back to the top of the Bridgman order, and Michelle Kim. Kim has reached base safely all 3 times here today. A single in the 1st, a double in the 3rd, and drew a walker last time up in the 4th. Swinging at the high heat, 0-1 against Kim. On the horizon next for Fort Lee, they will be continuing their 3-game homestand as Robles again floats that one well out of the strike zone, and that draws a huge smile and laugh from both catcher and pitcher. 3-game homestand will continue for Fort Lee as they will be hosting Palisades Park tomorrow and then will be next in action on Wednesday against Bergenfield. That pitch missing off the plate. Now 2-1 against Kim. Fort Lee looks to be falling for the first time here today and first time this season at home as they were 2-0 coming into the action today. There's a pop-up. Ranging back is the second baseman to make the play, and now there's 2 away with nobody on base here in the bottom of the 6th inning. So the pop-up to second base, and now 2 away as Fort Lee is down to their final out of the game. That brings up Caitlin Park. Park is 0 for 2 with a walk here today. Pair of strikeouts in the first and third innings and drew a bases-loaded walk in the fourth to give her an RBI. She swings through that one and misses 0-1. The 0-1 from Robles, missing low and inside. It's now 1-1. Fort Lee, with the defeat, would fall to 3-6 overall on the season. Again, this is not a divisional game. It's just a crossover in the Big North Conference. Robles missing high against Park. Now 2-1. And a win for Westwood would once again bring the Cardinals even on the season, a 7-7 on the year. As that one is bounced low, it's now 3-1 the count against Park. So Park trying to draw her second consecutive walk against Robles. 2 outs, nobody on base, 10-run lead. Robles throwing a couple outside the strike zone here. And she does it again, low for ball 4. Third walk of the game given up by Robles, 2 of the 3 coming against the second place hitter in Caitlin Park. And that brings up maybe the most dangerous hitter in the lineup for Fort Lee in Luciana Casal. Casal had a 2-run double her last time up, takes that one in for a strike, 0-1. Casal is 2 for 3 today, grounded out to short back in the first inning, had a single in the third, and that 2-run double in the fourth inning with the bases loaded. Swings and misses that time, and now Fort Lee is down to their final strike of the game, 0-2, with 2 outs, a runner down at first. Here's the 0-2 pitch from Robles. Jam shot, fouled straight back by Casal. Again, it was a 16-5 game in Westwood last season, a Cardinal victory. Trying to almost duplicate that here on the road this year against the Bridgmen. Leading 15-5. Again, the 0-2. That's going to be strike 3 looking, and that will end the game. So the final score is going to be Westwood 15 and Fort Lee 5 on that strikeout there to finish off the game, and a win for Robles. Finishes off with 7 strikeouts on the afternoon. Westwood's bats were hot all game long despite the cold, windy weather outside as they produce that victory here on the road today. With the win, they'll go to 7-7 on the season. With the defeat, Fort Lee will fall to 3-6 overall on the season. Again, the Bridgmen will continue playing a couple games at home in their next 2 contests, again outside of their division. They'll take on Palisades Park and Bergenfield. The next time that they'll play a divisional game will come on Monday, May 2nd on the road against Dwight Morrow, a team that they opened up the season with an 11-0 victory here at home. So for the first time this season, Fort Lee falls at home. Thank you so much, everybody, for tuning in to another edition of Fort Lee Bridgmen Softball here on the Fort Lee Athletics YouTube channel. So for our camera operator, Renee Matisich, and our producer, Dimitri Nanis, I'm Dan Long saying so long and take care, everybody.